Well, we're here at the Academy Sports and Outdoors Rigs and Techniques at the CCA workbench.
Yep.
And Dave, we're talking about catching a bonefish.
Yeah, you know, and South Florida is the king of bone fishing. You know, in the whole United States, besides Hawaii, which they catch a few every once in a while, Florida is really the only state we can catch them. And really, South Florida is where if you're going to target them, that's where you have to go. They'll catch one every once in a while up in the Panhandle or way up in Jacksonville. You know, somebody will catch one time, but they're a warm water fish, and they like to be out there down there on the flats. And when the good incoming tide comes up, those bonefish with their little underslung mouth will come up on those flats and dig out worms and shrimp and whatnot. And you guys down there like to chase them around in that flat water because they like to take off when they eat.
Absolutely. You know, so Dave, I think first thing you need to know is I still use mono for bone fishing because they have great eyesight.
Right.
You know, some of the fellas are using some braided line. They're using braided line with a trace of fluorocarbon leader. I just tie a double line, and this is 10-pound mono. And so essentially what we'll do is we'll tie a double line, and we tie on a offset 2-0 hook. I'll put a split shot here, and then we just simply either use a crab, a small crab this time of year because the shrimp are typically small. But I like the fact that when I use a 7.5-foot rod, I can throw that shrimp a long way with the 10-pound line. So this Akuma Ricky Red Rod medium action works perfect for me.
So you just tie straight from the double line to the hook, huh?
Yeah, no leader.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so you got double 12.
Right.
But you know, there's other ways that guys like to fish for them. If you don't have shrimp, then what you can do is, if you're poling on the flats, a lot of times we'll fish with small bucktails. Again, real small. This is calf tail, and I like it. They love chartreuse. Bonefish like chartreuse, especially on sand. You know, you gotta. The key is you gotta make sure that it drops and hits the bottom and makes a little sand puff in the sand. Then there's also some guys like this is an old jig that Pfluger made a long time ago with a triangle head.
Sink slower.
And then it has, I use this for redfish and mudding bonefish. It's brown, so in the mud they see it. It also has a weed guard, so it works real well in the turtle grass. Only weighs 1/8 of an ounce, so it's, you know, it doesn't make that bad of a splash. So there's other things that you could throw to them. Certainly all the fly guys love to throw different flies. And here's my best advice to you guys if you're watching. The depth of water is the key to which fly you're gonna pick. Tailing fish, you don't wanna have flies that have big lead eyes. You wanna have a fly that maybe doesn't have any eyes, like this one. This is the Chico's Bonefish Special.
And what, when they're got their head down in the gravel or in the mud, why is the no eyes better than the
because
eyes?
of the splash when you make the cast. That's the whole key. Real shallow water, they hear everything, they see everything. They're real spooky at that point. But then as the tide comes up, then you might start to go to little bead chain eyes like this crazy Charlie here, very popular fly, little light bead chain eyes. Then you might notice they're all still small, but then as the water gets 2 or 3 feet deep, then we call this the red-headed stepchild. It has lead eyes. The lead eyes and the bead chain eyes are the same size, but obviously the lead eyes are a little heavier. So remember, you know, there's a variety of different things they like to eat. I won the spring bonefish tournament fishing a clouser, chartreuse and white clouser. It's the only time I ever won it, but this was our go-to, you know, fly. The thing that we do, I learned this from Lefty many years ago in Walker's Cay. Throw the fly, watch the fish's reaction. If you see him accelerate to like he's where your fly is, you're stripping little tiny strips. You want to give the fly a lot of life, but not move it very far. When you think you have a bite, and most of the time they eat it and swim towards you, so they swim slack in the line, you never feel the bite. The next thing you do is a long straight strip like this, and if you feel him, you just raise the rod and he's on, clear your line, and you're a hero.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I'm wrapped all up in the line usually. That's what happens to me. He eats it, and then
Dave,
I'm tangled up.
You're ready to go catch a bonefish now, aren't you?
Bonefish 101, there it is.
Bonefish 101.